They chose my graduation day to destroy me. I was halfway across the stage when my father's voice boomed out. "Skylar, catch." He tossed an envelope toward me. My mother stood beside him, arms crossed. "Open it, honey. We want everyone to see." Inside were disownment papers, every line filled out. The crowd gasped, but I just smiled, because standing in the back of that auditorium was the one person who knew the truth. My name is Skylar, and I'm 23 years old. I just graduated with honors in computer science from a university I paid for myself. While most college students were figuring out their majors, I was working remote freelance gigs just to cover rent in the cheapest apartment I could find. My family didn't help, they didn't offer, and honestly, I stopped expecting them to a long time ago. See, my parents had a favorite. My younger brother Ethan. He was the prized child, the one who got a brand new car for pulling a C average. I got criticized for an A-. He got praised for showing up. I got ignored for succeeding. When Ethan announced he wanted to work at Dad's car dealership, they threw him a party. When I told them I was majoring in computer science, Mom asked if I was sure I could handle it. They made it clear from the start. Ethan was their investment. Ethan was their pride. And me? I was just the kid who took up space at the dinner table. I learned early that I'd have to build my own life because they weren't going to be part of it. And that's exactly what I did. If you've ever been the forgotten child in your own family, hit that like button right now. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. Have you ever worked twice as hard just to be noticed half as much? Because that was my entire childhood in one sentence. It started 3 months before graduation. We were sitting around the dinner table, and I'd just gotten the email I'd been waiting for. Summa cum laude, top of my class. I couldn't keep it in. "I'm graduating with honors," I said, setting my phone down. "Summa cum laude." My mother glanced up from her plate for maybe half a second. "That's nice, dear." That was it. 2 words. Then silence. My father didn't even look at me. He turned to Ethan, who was scrolling through his phone like he always did. "Ethan, tell your sister about your promotion at the dealership." Ethan smirked. That same smug expression he'd worn since we were kids. "I'm assistant manager now. Dad says I'm on track to run the whole place someday." My father beamed. "That's my boy. Real leadership potential." I tried again. "I've also been getting interview requests from tech companies. Some really good ones." My mother sighed like I'd just interrupted something important. "Skylar, can you not make everything about you? This is Ethan's moment." I sat there staring at my untouched food. Ethan's moment. It was always Ethan's moment. I left the table early that night. Nobody noticed. Later, I was in my old bedroom upstairs when I heard voices coming from my father's study. The door was cracked open just enough. I shouldn't have listened, but something made me stop. "We need to cut ties cleanly." That was my father's voice. "She's never been grateful anyway." My mother's reply came quickly. "The graduation is perfect timing. Public, final, no room for her to cause drama later." My stomach dropped. "I've already drafted the papers," my father continued. "We'll make it clear she's not part of this family's future. Everything goes to Ethan. Clean break." There was a pause. Then my mother laughed. Actually laughed. "Imagine her face when she realizes we've written her out of everything. Maybe then she'll understand she was never really one of us." I stood there in the hallway, frozen. They'd been planning this. For how long? Weeks? Months? My own graduation, the one thing I'd worked so hard for, and they were going to use it to humiliate me in front of everyone. I walked back to my room, closed the door, and sat on the edge of my bed. My hands were shaking, but it wasn't just hurt anymore. It was something else, something colder. They wanted to make a statement. Fine, I'd let them. 2 weeks after that dinner, I found out they'd thrown Ethan a birthday party at some expensive steakhouse downtown, the kind of place with valet parking and a dress code. I wasn't invited. I found out the same way everyone else did, through Instagram. Ethan posted a story. The whole family around a table, champagne glasses raised, a massive cake in the center. My parents were smiling wider than I'd seen in years. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone was there. Everyone except me. The next morning, I drove to their house. My mother was in the kitchen when I walked in. "You forgot to invite me," I said, keeping my voice steady. She didn't even turn around. "Oh, sweetie, we didn't think you'd want to come. You're always so busy with your little projects." Little projects. That's what she called the work that was paying my rent. You could have asked. She finally looked at me, wiping her hands on a towel. "Skylar, don't be dramatic, it was just family." I was family, at least I thought I was. A week later, I got the offer, An actual job offer from a tech firm I'd been interviewing with for months. $95,000 starting salary, full benefits, relocation assistance if I needed it. I was shaking when I read the email. I waited until dinner to tell them. I thought maybe this time would be different. I got a job offer today, I said, trying to keep the excitement out of my voice. A really good one, tech firm in the city. 95,000 to start. My father didn't look up. He was scrolling through his phone, half listening. That's fine, Skylar. Just don't expect us to help when you inevitably fail. The words hit me like a slap. Ethan snorted from across the table. 95,000? Please. Dad's giving me equity in the dealership. That's real money, sis. Not some startup that'll fold in a year. My mother nodded. Ethan's building something stable. Something that lasts. I didn't say anything else. What was the point? 1 week before graduation, I got an email from a lawyer. My parents' lawyer. The subject line read, Estate Planning Update. I opened it sitting in my apartment, coffee going cold beside me. The email was professional, detached. They were removing me from the family trust, updating the will to exclude me entirely. The reasoning they gave was almost insulting. I was financially independent and didn't require family support. But I knew the truth. They were consolidating everything for Ethan, making sure he got it all. I printed the email and drove straight to their house. I didn't call first. My father was in his study. My mother was with him. I threw the printed email on his desk. So this is it, I said. You're just writing me out. My father leaned back in his chair, completely calm. You've made it very clear you don't need us, Skylar. We're simply acknowledging that. I never said I didn't need you. My mother's voice was ice. You didn't have to say it. You made yourself an outsider, Skylar. Don't blame us for accepting that. I stood there staring at them both. They weren't even pretending anymore. No excuses, no apologies. Just cold, hard rejection. I turned and walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just left. When I got back to my apartment, I sat on my couch for a long time. Then I picked up my phone and made a call. My hands were shaking, but my voice came out steady. Dr. Chen, it's Skylar. I need to ask you something, and I need you to trust me. There was a pause on the other end, then her voice, warm and careful. I'm listening. That offer we talked about. The one from Tech Venture. Is it still on the table? It is. Why? I took a breath. Because I want to accept it, and I need your help with something else. What they didn't know was that those little projects they mocked, they were something bigger, a lot bigger. It started back in my sophomore year. I couldn't sleep one night, so I opened my laptop and started coding. Just for fun at first, I'd been freelancing for small businesses, helping them organize their workflows, and I kept noticing the same problems over and over. They needed better tools, simpler tools. So I built one. It was a productivity management app designed specifically for small businesses. Nothing fancy at first, just clean, intuitive, something that actually solved real problems. I launched it for free, figured maybe a few people would use it. Within 6 months, I had 10,000 users. By junior year, that number hit 50,000. I drop hints at family dinners sometimes. I'm working on this app. I've got some side projects going. But nobody ever asked for details. My father would nod absently. My mother would change the subject. Ethan would make some joke about me being a nerd. They never asked, so I stopped telling them. Senior year, something changed. A small investment firm reached out. They'd been tracking my app's metrics, the user growth, the engagement rates, the retention. They wanted to talk acquisition. I spent months negotiating, quietly, carefully. I didn't tell my parents because I knew exactly what would happen. They'd find some way to make it about Ethan, or they'd dismiss it, or worse, they'd try to take credit. 3 weeks before graduation, I signed the papers. Tech Venture Solutions acquired my app, and they wanted me to come on board as a senior technical consultant. They wanted my expertise to help scale the product, to build on what I'd created. The CEO, James Mitchell, personally called me. We don't just want your app, Skylar, we want you. He asked if he could attend my graduation. Said he wanted to publicly recognize what I'd built. I thought about my parents, about those disownment papers, about that conversation I'd overheard. Yes, I told him, I'd like that very much. They thought graduation would be my humiliation. They had no idea what I'd planned. Dr. Sarah Chen was the reason any of this was possible. She'd been my computer science professor junior year, but she became so much more than that. She saw something in me that my own family never did. When I told her about my app, she didn't just encourage me, she connected me with people, investors, advisors, the right networks. She knew about my family too. I'd broken down in her office once after a particularly brutal holiday dinner. She didn't judge, she just listened, and then she helped me build a plan. The night before graduation, my phone rang. It was Dr. Chen. "Are you sure you want to do this publicly, Skylar?" Her voice was gentle but serious. I didn't hesitate. They chose the public stage, I'm just accepting their invitation. There was a pause. "Okay, then let's make sure you're ready." While I was preparing, my parents were celebrating. The day before graduation, they hosted a pre-celebration dinner. For Ethan. Not for me, I wasn't invited to that either. My aunt called me that evening. "Skylar, where are you? Your parents are having a family dinner." I wasn't invited. Silence on the other end. Then quietly, "What?" At that dinner, my relatives kept asking about me. My aunt told me later what my father said. He'd waved his hand dismissively. "She's not really family-oriented. Tomorrow will be closure for everyone." My mother told my aunt something even worse. "We're giving her the independence she clearly wants. It's a kindness, really." A kindness. They actually believed that. Ethan posted on social media that night. I saw it before I went to bed. "Some people need to learn the world doesn't revolve around them," with a shrugging emoji and the hashtag family first. I didn't reply. I didn't react. I just set my phone down and went to sleep. The next morning, graduation day, I woke up to a text from Dr. Chen. "He's confirmed. Front row, center. Ready?" I typed back immediately. "I've been ready my whole life." I got to the ceremony early. My parents arrived later. And they weren't alone. They'd brought their lawyer. He was carrying a leather folder. The disownment papers. They were smiling, actually smiling, confident, excited, even. I watched from backstage as they took their seats. My mother leaned over and whispered something to my father. Even from a distance, I could read her lips. "This is going to be perfect." She had no idea how right she was. Before I tell you what happened next, I need to know, do you think I should have warned them? Or did they deserve exactly what was coming? The ceremony started like any other graduation. Speeches, applause, the usual. When they called my name, I walked across that stage with my head high. The dean handed me my diploma. I shook his hand. The audience clapped politely. That's when my father stood up. He waved the envelope high in the air like he was at an auction. "Skylar, we brought you something special today." The auditorium went quiet. Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd. People turned in their seats. My mother stood up beside him, that cold smile fixed on her face. "Consider this our final gift to you." I walked to the edge of the stage. Someone handed me the envelope. I opened it right there, under the lights, in front of 500 people. Disownment papers. Legal, official. Every line filled out. The gasps were immediate. Someone's phone camera flashed. My parents wanted this documented. They wanted proof. I looked up at them, and I smiled. "Thank you for making this public." My father's expression flickered. Just for a second. Confusion. The dean stepped back to the microphone, glancing at his notes. He looked uncomfortable. "We have a special guest today who requested to speak. Please welcome James Mitchell, CEO of Tech Venture Solutions." A tall man in an expensive suit walked onto the stage from the side entrance. The kind of suit that costs more than a used car. Every step was confident, purposeful. My parents froze. I watched the color drain from my father's face. They recognized the name. Everyone in business recognized that name. James took the microphone and turned to face the audience. "I'm here today to recognize an exceptional talent." His voice carried across the entire auditorium. Skylar Anderson created an application that revolutionized how over 200,000 small businesses manage their operations. The audience was silent, listening. Her innovation, her coding, her vision. 3 weeks ago, Tech Venture Solutions acquired her company. He paused, letting that sink in, and we're incredibly proud to have her joining our team. The applause started, slowly at first, then building. James wasn't finished. "Skylar will be joining us as senior technical consultant, with a starting salary of $240,000 annually." My father dropped the folder, the disownment papers scattered across the floor in front of his seat. "Oh, and Skylar?" James turned to me, smiling. "That equity package we discussed? Over the next 4 years, that's worth approximately $2.3 million. The auditorium erupted. People were standing now, cheering. I took the microphone from James. My hands were steady. I looked directly at my parents. Mom, Dad, my voice echoed through the speakers. Thank you for teaching me I didn't need you. My mother's face went pale. While you were investing everything in Ethan's mediocrity, I was building something real, something that mattered. My mother tried to stand, tried to interrupt. Skylar, wait. I cut her off. No, you chose this moment. You wanted witnesses. I held up the disownment papers. You're right about one thing. I don't need family support. I never did. The dean leaned over and whispered something, gesturing toward the audience. A woman in a business suit stood up. My lawyer. We'd planned this. Those papers have no legal standing, she called out, her voice clear. Miss Anderson is 23 years old and financially independent. This document is symbolic at best. I looked back at my parents, but I appreciate the gesture. It really drives home who you always were. The relatives sitting near my parents were staring at them, not with sympathy, with disgust. Ethan had slumped down in his seat, his face bright red. My father tried one last time. He stood up, hands raised. This is all a misunderstanding. James stepped forward, microphone still in hand. No misunderstanding, sir. I saw exactly what was in those papers. He paused. Congratulations on raising such a resilient young woman, despite yourselves. The applause was deafening. When the ceremony ended, I was surrounded by people, classmates, professors, strangers who just wanted to shake my hand. Dr. Chen found me in the crowd and pulled me into a hug. You handled that perfectly, she whispered. My parents tried to approach. They actually tried, but my relatives blocked them. My aunt, the one who'd called me the night before, stepped right in front of my father. You tried to humiliate your own daughter at her graduation? Her voice was shaking with anger. My uncle joined her, and she's a millionaire tech consultant. What is wrong with you? My parents stood there, isolated, while everyone else celebrated around me. Ethan didn't even try to stay. He left through a side exit, couldn't handle the attention not being on him for once. 2 weeks later, I moved into a new apartment. Paid in full. High-rise, city view. The kind of place I used to dream about. My parents started sending emails. Lots of them. The subject lines were all the same desperate tone. We may have overreacted. Let's talk. Family is important. I deleted every single one without reading past the first line. My first day at Tech Venture, there was a nameplate on my office door. Skylar Anderson, Senior Technical Consultant. Dr. Chen came to visit. Brought coffee. Any regrets? She asked. I looked around my office, at the view of the city through the window, at everything I'd built on my own. Not one, I said. They taught me the most valuable lesson. Family is who shows up for you, not who shares your blood. I didn't need their approval. I needed their absence to finally see my own worth. Sometimes the people who doubt you the loudest end up being your greatest motivation. If this story hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and tell me what you would have done in my position. Would you have signed those papers? Would you have walked away? I want to know. And don't forget to subscribe because I read every single comment you leave. Your worth isn't measured by who validates you. It's measured by what you build when nobody's watching. I'll see you in the next one.
2 more videos are waiting on your screen. Tap now to watch them. Both are amazing stories you'll enjoy.